Joshua Jipp out of Trinity Evangelical Divinity School. It's called Saved by Faith and Hospitality. And he talks about this story. He says, many Christians assume they know exactly what the story of Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis 19 is all about, sexual deviance. But in fact, Genesis 19 provides the negative counterpart to Abraham's hospitality. And it really makes the simple point that God will judge societies and individuals that abuse the vulnerable stranger. So when God says to Jerusalem, to the Israelites in Isaiah and Amos and Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Ezekiel, and when Jesus says to Capernaum and to the cities that he sends the disciples to, when John says it about Jerusalem, when Moses warns the Israelites about Sodom's fate and Sodom's sin, it is a question of whether they have shown justice to the vulnerable. It has little, if not nothing, to do with sexual deviancy. That is critical for us to understand, because it's exactly what Isaiah turns his attention to in the subsequent chapters after making this equation, making this association between Israel and Sodom. The book, by the way, I recommend this book very highly. I read it about a year or two ago. The phrase saved by faith and hospitality comes from the early church writings, right after the New Testament. I believe it's First Clement has something similar to the Hall of Faith that we have in Hebrews. And the author of that letter, in remarking on a much longer list of sort of the heroes of the faith, calls attention to Rahab, Lot, and I believe Abraham is the third, people who were saved by their faith and hospitality is the phrase that is used. In other words, their faith was demonstrated by welcoming a stranger into their midst, and they experienced God's salvation as a result of their hospitality.